Okafor stood in front of his car with one hand in his pocket as he waited patiently under the scorching sun. He was sweating profusely, but he didn't care as he watched the entrance of the door of the mall with rapid attention. He has been standing there for close to 30 minutes now and had begun to wonder within himself if he had seen the wrong person. He went into his car to get his handkerchief to clean the bits of sweat already forming in his face. As he was cleaning his face, he smiled. He had seen the right person after all. A young lady dressed in a bomb short and a crop top to match came out of the mall entrance with a shopping bag in her hands as she catwalked towards the gate of the mall. "Oh, what a beautiful creature!" Okafo exclaimed as he quickly rushed to meet her. "Omalicha, Omalicha!" Okafo shouted as he ran to catch up with her. "Excuse you? My name is not Omalicha," the young lady said as she turned to look at the person shouting at her in such a local manner. "You again?" she asked, looking frustrated. "Why are you following me around like a lost cause?" she questioned Okafo with so much irritation in her voice. "Omalicha, it is not like that. Please just give me a chance to get to know you," Okafo said, sweating profusely. "My name is Jessica," she answered with rage. Okafor was a very rich businessman who excelled so much in his business. He was in his mid-30s but could be mistaken for a middle-aged man because of his dress sense. He had seen Jessica earlier in the day at a restaurant where he had tried to talk to her but was not given the audience, so he secretly trailed her from the restaurant down to the shopping mall where he had waited patiently for her to come out to avoid being embarrassed inside the mall. "Okay, sorry Jessica. Please, can I at least have your number?" he asked her, pleading. "And why will I give a local man like you my number?" she asked, looking frustrated. "Please, just give me your number so that I can stop following you around," Okafor replied. Jessica finally gave in and gave Okafor her number in order to be free from his torment. Okafor ensured that she gave him the right number as he dialed the number and made sure it rang from her end before leaving her presence. As Okafor drove back home that day, he connected his phone to the car stereo and played his favorite highlife song, Osondi Oweji by Osita Osadebe. He sang along in a high-pitched voice, celebrating his victory. Okafor had just left a relationship, or better still, was dumped by his previous girlfriend after he found another man. He had been single for 5 months now, after his ex-girlfriend dumped him for someone else who had more money than him and lived a flashy and flamboyant lifestyle unlike him. He was devastated, but yet did everything possible to try to win her back, but it was as though he was flogging a dead horse. He accepted his fate and was heartbroken for months, as the thought of Cleopatra, the girl he had thought had brought sunshine to his dimming light. "I didn't really deserve Cleopatra," he would say when a thought crossed his mind. "She was such a beauty queen, a very elegant lady with poise and class. How stupid I was to think that she had fallen for me. What will a classy babe like her be doing with a local man like me?" One of the many things Okafor struggled with was his self-esteem. Although he is a well-to-do young man, he didn't really think that he was worth so much, with his accent always picking on him at every given opportunity and his dressing always selling him out as egotic. He has been talked down on so many occasions by people who didn't know him and thought he was an ordinary sales boy. But when they would realize that he was actually the CEO of Okafor's conglomerate, they would go back to him with surprise and fear, apologizing for their wrong deeds. Okafor grew up with his mother in the village, who was a farmer. He never met his father, as he had died in a motor accident when he was only 3 months old. His mother single-handedly raised him and his elder siblings. He went to the government primary and secondary school in the village. After his secondary school education, his mother wasn't financially buoyant enough to sponsor him to any tertiary institution, so she sent him to Mazi Ifeanyi's house, which was in the city, to learn the sales of electrical materials and appliances for 5 years. He was his master's favorite boy, who served him diligently. After his 5 years of training was over, his master gave him money to start up his own shop and blessed him for his years of diligent service. Okafor judiciously used the money given to him by his master wisely, as he opened his shop in the heart of Onitsha, a busy city in Anambra State. His shop experienced great sales, and soon he started expanding to various other big cities like Port Harcourt, Abuja and Lagos, his current head office and state of residence. With all the ups and downs Okafor had experienced in his life, and the way most people who were ignorant of his status as the CEO of Okafor's conglomerate had talked down on him, he decided that he wasn't going to settle for less when picking a girlfriend or eventually a wife. He loved girls who carried themselves with so much class and poise, and who could express themselves in Queen's English fluently, unlike him. He felt that if the society sees his girlfriend or wife, they would accord him more respect. He wanted a girlfriend who would elevate his unsophisticated lifestyle and give him class, so that society would stop looking at his flaws. With that, Okafor promised himself that he was going to marry a Gen Z baddie that would represent him everywhere or anywhere he deemed necessary. When he got home, he excitedly went through his phone contacts as he dialed Chidera's number. The phone rang from his end as he waited patiently for Chidera to respond from her own end. "Hello, Chichi," he said, unable to contain his joy. "Mazi Okafor, how are you? This one that you sound so happy. What's the good news?" This girl, you know me so well," he replied, giggling. "Well, I just called to let you know that I think I might have found the one," he said, placing emphasis on the one. "Oh, that's good news," Chichi exclaimed, genuinely happy for him. "I pray this one lasts long and not end up like the case of Annabelle, Jasmine, or even Cleopatra," she said, praying for him teasingly. Chidera, what is the meaning of this your prayer now?" Okafor asked with irritation in his voice. "Are you trying to remind me of my failed relationship or what?" "No, why will I do that? I'm only praying for this particular relationship to end well." "Don't worry, Chidera, it will end well." This girl, now what for you? I thought you were my friend, and as such you should be on my side. I don't like your vibes this evening, no," Okafor said, complaining. Mazi one, who is teaching you all these slangs? I am sure it's all this your Gen Z girlfriend," Chidera said, laughing. "Be laughing at me, dear. I don't blame you. I blame myself for calling you with my airtime and sharing my good news with you. Don't be offended, Mazi. You sef, you too dey vex," she said again teasingly. "Alright, Chichi, I have to go now. My accountant is calling me." "Oh, big man," Chichi responded as he ended the call. Okafor had known Chidera from way back when he just came to Lagos. Chidera was one of his first customers who came to patronize him. She wanted to see the owner of the showroom that day in order to get recommendations on the products that would best suit the purpose she wanted it for. And so Okafo suggested products that would best suit her need. When Chidera was told the price, she spoke in Igbo dialect, inferring that the price was too expensive, unaware that Okafo had heard her. "Oh, so you are Igbo and you have been hearing me talk since morning and you did not deem it fit to identify yourself, eh, Okwaya?" "Nwanne, no be so," Okafor said, looking at Chidera with disappointment. Chidera felt guilty because she knew so well that Okafor was Igbo from the way he spoke, but didn't want to bring tribalism into their discussion. She just needed product recommendation and nothing more. "Sorry, Nwanne," Chidera said with the "okay, don't catch me" face. As their discussion progressed, they discovered they were even from the same state and they became good friends since that day. Okafor called Jessica that evening and reminded her that he was the miscreant that kept following her all through the day. Jessica laughed from her end of the phone. Okafor apologized for his inappropriate behavior of trailing her around that day and said he was sorry, but not really sorry, because if not for his persistence, he wouldn't have gotten her number. He then went straight to the point by asking her on a dinner date and told her that she should please consider his request. Jessica shrugged at the thought of going on a date with such a loud local man and wanted to immediately tell him no, but on the other hand, she felt that having dinner with him would be a bad idea, as she would use her high taste and demand to finally chase him and get him off his back. And so she agreed to go on a date with him and told him the restaurant she wanted them to go to. It was one of the most expensive restaurants in Lagos. When he gets the bill and managed to pay that day, he would know that he can't keep up with her lifestyle. Nobody will tell him to run along, Jessica thought to herself, laughing. The next day, Okafor dressed up and went to the restaurant Jessica had picked for their date to meet her up. As he sat and waited patiently for her to show up, after 45 minutes of waiting, she finally walked in, dressed so elegantly that Okafor opened his mouth in awe as he quickly drew the chair opposite him for her to sit. "What is this you're wearing to a dinner date?" Jessica asked, looking embarrassed. "Ah, don't you like it?" he questioned, examining himself. "Please, let's place our order," Jessica said, dismissing his question. When the menu was handed to Jessica, she ran through the prices as she kept ticking the most expensive items in the menu. Okafor told her that he really likes her and went straight to asking her to be his girlfriend. Jessica did not say a word as she ate in silence. The waiter brought their bills, which was running to ₦1,000,000. Okafor quickly brought out his card and paid for the bills. It was at that point that Jessica realized that Okafor was really rich and that she has gotten for herself a big catch. She knew that Okafor would be useful in sponsoring her lavish lifestyle, so she agreed to be his girlfriend. Okafor thanked her for seeing him worthy to be his man and promised not to disappoint her. He also promised that he would take very good care of her. But as their relationship progressed into months, Okafor realized that their relationship was one-sided and that he was always the only one calling to check up on her. Jessica was too busy for him, and the few times when they would hang out, she would always talk down on him and complain about his unpolished Igbotic English and his unsophisticated dress sense, but she never made any attempt to make him look or dress better. The only thing she never complained about was how financially invested Okafor was to the relationship. Jessica never lacked anything as he always made provision for all her needs, from the latest Brazilian hair to the latest clothes and shoes and the latest wristwatches and bags. She was always demanding for one thing or the other from Okafor, and Okafor never complained in meeting her demands. All he just wanted from her was her love and commitment, but it was as though he was asking for too much. Okafor was feeling drained and tired. He didn't know what to do to salvage the situation. He needed someone to advise him, so he remembered Chidera. Chidera and Emmanuel was one of the closest circle of friends Okafor had. Emmanuel had traveled for months now to Enugu on a business trip, and so he didn't want to bore him with his one-sided love story. So he decided to call Chidera. At least she already knew about Jessica, and she's a woman. She would be able to give me solid advice on what to do. And with that, he called her. "Hello, Chichi. How are you doing?" "I'm fine," Chidera responded. "My big man friend, it's like you have been very busy lately. It's been a while I heard from you." "My dear, don't mind me, Jare. I had many things on my plate. How are you, Mazi?" Chidera requested. "I am fine, but not fine," he said bluntly. Okafor narrated all that he was going through in his current relationship. How he felt that Jessica was not giving him the love and attention he desired, and how she would always throw jabs at him regarding his English and his dressing. "I don't really know what to do to truly win this girl," he said. "Chidera, I have done everything for this girl to see the good side of me, but it is not working." "Maazi, have you sat her down to talk to her and tell her how you really feel?" Chidera questioned. "No, I have not. The thing is, I am scared. I don't want to say something that would upset her and make me lose her. You know, she's a classy lady and I am lucky to have her. I don't want to do anything that will jeopardize my chances with her." Okafor responded with honesty. "You seem to forget that good communication is the bedrock of every successful relationship. Keep your fears aside and tell her how you feel. You will be surprised at how things will change for the better." "Okay, I will. Thank you, Chidera. You are indeed a good friend. God will bless the man that will marry you," he said as he ended the call. Chidera had always had a soft spot for Okafor and had loved him from the get-go, but she knew Okafor was not into girls like her. He liked them classy and hot. She was just an ordinary secretary in a small organization. Though she was well educated, her salary was meager and she could not afford such luxurious lifestyle, and so she shoved her feelings aside and continued to cherish the friendship they shared. Considering the advice of Chidera, the next day, Okafor went to the supermarket, bought flowers and perfumes for Jessica, and drove to her house in order to have a proper conversation with her. He tried her number that morning to tell her that he would be coming over to her house, but her number wasn't available. However, he just drove down to her house. He parked his car at the front of her gate. As he walked into the compound, her front door was opened, so he entered the sitting room, holding a flower in one hand and a gift pack on the other hand. And there in the sitting room, Jessica was busy kissing another man affectionately on her sofa. Okafor stood still in shock, his eyes widened with surprise as the flower he was holding fell to the ground. What did Okafor do? when he found out that Jessica was cheating on him? Do you think it was best Chidera hid her feelings from Okafor? Do you think Okafor was right in making a decision to date and marry a lady who would uplift the way the society sees him? Would Okafor forgive Jessica or move on with his life? Well, we will find out in part 2. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel to enjoy more interesting African tales. Also, give this video a thumbs up and share with us in the comment section what you love about this story so far. Till I bring part 2 your way, for now, it's bye.